Similar versus something being congruent. What's the difference? Z, what do you think?
Congruent is same size, same shape. Right?
Good. Yeah, so congruent would be the exact same size, exact same shape. So think about your hands are congruent. What's similar? Yes, Aaron? And in what way are they the same, though? So, like, here's an example, right? If you put your hands together, you've got congruent hands, right? If you put your hand up to your friend's hand, mine and Kira's, right? We do not have congruent hands. We have similar hands. What's the same about them? They're both hands are the same what? Yeah. It's the same shape, but a different size. Yes. So your hands are congruent, right? Because they're exactly the same. But your hand and someone else's hand, they would be similar. They're the same shape, but a different size, getting bigger. That's what we did yesterday with dilation. So today, we are going to prove that triangles are similar using 3 different theorems. And these theorems hopefully should look familiar. Where else have we used these theorems before? We used them last semester with congruent triangles, except there were a couple more. There was also one you weren't allowed to use, remember? Yep, the one that was the bad word. Because we don't swear in math class, right? Well, we shouldn't swear in math class. How about that? Okay, let's take some notes, and then we're going to try to breeze through the front pretty quickly so you've got time to work on the back during class. All right, so similar means same shape, different size. So I'm going to write that up at the top. Same shape, but different size. That's similarity. So in similarity, you're going to have some pieces that might be congruent in the triangles, but overall, the triangles themselves are not going to be exactly the same. Now, when we talked about congruency before, there was a symbol we used for congruency. Does anybody remember the symbol for congruent? Darren? The equal sign with the little wave on top of it. Yes. So this symbol here is congruent. Hello, boys. How can I help you? Oh, the study guide? Yeah, it's in number 31 up front. Okay, that's the symbol for congruent. What's the symbol? And then, sorry, the symbol for similarity is just the squiggle sign with no equals underneath it. So this one is similar. Huh? That's it. Yeah, and then there's the video online for it, and the keys also online for it as well on Canvas. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. See you guys. Bye. No. All right. Okay. Let's come back now. Let's come back. First one says, shh, I will wait for you. First one says angle-angle similarity. It says if two corresponding angles are congruent, then the triangles are similar. So if you have 2 angles, you need 2 pair of angles that are the same, then the triangles are similar. So let's take a look at number 1. In the first triangle, the bigger triangle there, I give you 74 and 75 degrees. And now if you look at the triangle to the right, do you have at least one angle that matches so far? Yeah, which one? Angle A and angle D are congruent, right? So that's one pair of congruent angles. You need a second pair. You need 2 to prove that triangles are similar. Now I've got a little bit of an issue because I'm missing some angles in my picture. How do I figure out the missing angle? So how would I figure out angle C right here? They add up to 180, so what would I have to do to figure out what's left over? Good, so I'm going to take 180, and I'm going to subtract the 74 and 75 from it. So remember us writing it like this, you add them together and then subtract from 180. So 74 and 75 gives me 149, and 180 minus 149 is 31 degrees. So angle C is 31 degrees. Does that match? Yes, it does. So over here, angle F is also 31 degrees. So you have two pairs of angles that are exactly the same. Without doing any math, what is this angle up here, angle E? It's going to have to be the exact same thing as angle B, 74. So you've got two pair of congruent angles. Because you have two pair of congruent angles, you can prove that, yes, these are similar triangles. They're the same shape, but a different size. So I'm going to write, yes, they are similar. Because they are similar, I can write a similarity statement, which we've written congruency statements before. We're going to do the same thing here, but instead of a congruent symbol, obviously we're going to use a similarity symbol. So I'm going to name the triangle on the left, and you can name it in any order that you want. And I think when I write this, you're going to remember doing this. Triangle A, I'm going to call it ABC, is similar, so the squiggle, to triangle, and now I have to name it in the same order with corresponding parts. So if I named it ABC, what would I have to name it in the other one? DEF, good. And you're done. So you proved that they are similar, and that is your similarity statement. So if I ask you to write a statement, that's what I'm looking for, the sentence. If they're not similar, you don't need to write a sentence. You only do if they are similar. Questions? Nothing yet? It's pretty straightforward, because now that we've done congruency, it's very close to what we've already done. Okay. All right, number 2. Do you have in these two triangles at least one pair of congruent angles? Yes. Yes. Which two angles are the same? Angle V and angle Y are the same. Good. So I'm going to write up at the top, just so I remember, angle V is congruent to angle Y. The two of them are the same. Now, you need two pair of congruent angles to prove that triangles are similar. I only have one pair. Is there a second pair in that picture?
Yes.
Yes. Which ones?
W and C.
How do you know that W and Z are the same? Are they 90-degree angles? Do you know that for sure? Did I put a marking in the picture to show you that they're 90 degrees? No, so you cannot assume anything. Sydney? Oh, you're close. Vertical. Which one's the vertical angles? Angle X right in the center. Yes, and Andrea said it. Right here, angle X. These are called vertical angles, and we know vertical angles are congruent. You will never, ever, oh man. Hello?
Good morning, Ms. Imasco. Do you have a Keandra Caitlin Workman in your room?
Yes.
Can you please send her to the research center, the back room B? She has a test.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, friend.
I think I don't know a word of English, and I keep sending testing. So,
Well, have a good time. Sorry, friend. I don't know what to tell you.
well, because I was just there, I just looked.
Sorry, friend. It is too early for this. That's okay. You're okay. You're all right. All right, so you've got two pair of congruent angles. So are these similar or not similar?
Yes, yes.
They are similar. I'm just going to put yes. Similar. Okay, who can raise their hand and give me the congruency statement, the sentence for this problem? I'm going to call on someone who hasn't said anything yet. Aiden, thanks for not making eye contact. Why don't you give it a try?
I wasn't paying attention to what you said.
I said, can you write the congruency statement for me? Yes, you can. So name the triangle on the left. Any order you want. W, X, V. And now Aiden, Please name the second one in the same order. Aiden, you're not Aiden. Go ahead, Aiden. So which one matches with W, has nothing on the right?
What?
Which angle matches up with angle W on the right? Angle Z. Which one matches with, stop helping him, angle X?
X,
X again. And then which one matches with V?
Y.
Y. Beautiful. So if you go one at a time, it's a little easier. Wonderful. Thank you.
Well,
Okay. There you go. There's your first similarity theorem, angle. So all you need is two pair of congruent angles. All right, next one. Side. So side similarity is a little different than when we did it with the congruency ones. So in side, obviously you're not going to have the exact same numbers, because if you had the same numbers, then they would be congruent, not similar. So for side similarity, the corresponding sides have to be proportional, which means they have to have the same ratio or the same fraction. So over here by proportional, I'm going to write the same ratio. Okay, so they either have to have the same fraction, the same decimal, they have to have the same, they have to be in proportion to one another. So number 3 says, if the examples are similar by side, write the similarity statement. If they're not, then we're just going to put not similar. So in these two triangles, you've got obviously a smaller one and you've got a larger one. I am going to label this as my small one and a big one. And so what you're going to do is you're going to pick two sides that match. So you're going to pick one side in the small one and then one side in the big one. But you need to pick the two that match together, and we're going to make a fraction out of it. So if I look at the small one, I'm going to pick the smallest number there, which is 3. Which would that match with in the big triangle? 6. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a fraction out of those two. I can do the small divided by big, or I can do big divided by small. It does not matter, but you have to keep the pattern the same the whole time. So to make things easy, I'm going to take the big triangle and divide it by the small triangle. So in my problem there, the two that match up, I've got 6 and 3, so I'm going to do 6 divided by 3. What is 6 divided by 3? 2. I'm going to put it right underneath. So that's 2. The ratio there is 2. Now, all of the other ones have to be 2 for them to be similar. What's another pair of sides that match up? 10 and 5. Yeah, I heard you too. 10 and 5. So I'm going to take those two and I'm going to do the same order. Big divided by small. What is 10 divided by 5? You get 2 again. So far, those two sides are in proportion. What's my last fraction? 8 and 4. And what is 8 divided by 4? 2. So are all of these exactly the same ratios? Yes, they're all the same. So are these similar or not similar? They are similar. So now we're going to write a sentence. Similarity statement. Who would like to give it a try? Not the two of you, because you already answered questions. Love you both, though. I know. Vanessa, Z, thanks for making eye contact. Go for it.
Triangle PQR is similar to triangle STU.
Perfect. Great. And your similarity statement can be different than the person next to you, but it just has to be the right order, right? They have to match. As long as they match, you're good to go. Okay, so all this one is just a little bit of division. All right, what questions can I answer so far? I'm green. Trying to get through so we have enough time to do the back and you don't have to do it for homework. Do the back side. All right, number 4. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take the sides and we're going to make some ratios. In the last one, I did big divided by small. So just to show you that it's the same, I'm going to do the small divided by big this time. Okay, so this one's my small, and this one's my big. Who can give me one ratio that I need to do for this problem? What divided by what? Zarian? You're not Zarian. Of course you can. Okay, 24 matches up with 30. Good. So we're going to do 24 divided by 30. Now put that in your calculator. You're going to get a decimal, and that's fine. Okay, you get 0.8 when you put that into your calculator. Now we'll pick another one. 25 and 32. All right, again, same order. Now we just divide. We see if we get the same decimal. 25 divided by 32. What do you got? Put in your calculator, because I know you don't know off the top of your head. You had 0.78, whatever. Are those the same? No, not rounding. Are they exactly the same? No. So, are they similar? No, not similar. So look, when it comes to ratios here, you have to use the exact number. We don't round when it comes to proportions and ratios. So because of that, these two have to be exactly the same, and I mean exactly. If you get, when you do a problem, if you get 0.1 and then the next one is 0.12, those are not exactly the same. They would not be proportional. They would not be similar. Okay, has to be exactly the same number. Yes. Yeah, we didn't even need to keep going to figure out what the third one is because those two were not proportional. So yeah, as soon as you see it's not proportional, stop and go on to the next one. Good question. Okay, last one is side angle side. And it's exactly like what you think. You need to have two sides that are proportional. So you need to have two fractions that match. And then you need to have one angle that is exactly the same in both of them. So one angle that's congruent and two sides that are proportional. So let's take a look at number 5. Do you have one angle that is the same in both of them? Yes. Which one? Okay, so here's your angle right here. Angle K and angle N. They're the same. Good. So that's your angle. Now you need your sides to be in proportion. So what is one fraction I could write? 8 divided by 6. Okay, so we did big divided by small. What is 8 divided by 6? 1.3. Now it's repeating, which means when you do the next one, you have to get 1.3 repeating for it to work. What's my last fraction I need to check? 20 divided by 15. So I did big divided by small again. What do you get when you do 20 divided by 15? I got 1.33333 repeating for forever. So you've got two sides that are in proportion and one angle that is the same. So are they similar or not similar? They are similar. So I'm going to write a sentence. Again, doesn't matter what order you put it in. I'm going to write triangle LKJ is similar to PNM. So again, doesn't matter how you decide to write the first one as long as the second one matches. Okay, good. All right, we've got one more. And then we're on to some practice on the back. Now, what is different about the last problem here that you see? It's got the line in the middle of it. So here's what this picture is. You actually have overlapping triangles. This is the small triangle right here.
It's inside.
It's not inside, it's on top of. Essentially, it's overlapping. This small triangle is laying on top of this larger triangle. So here's my picture for you. Here's the large triangle right here, ACB, and then here's the smaller triangle laying on top of it. So this one is on top of this one now. Between these two, I know, right? Between these two, what do they have in common? Okay, what else do they have in common?
They share
They share
an angle.
an angle. What angle do they share? Angle A. So if angle A is like 30 degrees in this one, what does angle A have to be in this one? 30 degrees. They'd have to be the same. So your angle that they have that's congruent is angle A for both of them. There's your angle. Because it's a shared angle. Yeah, we did shared sides when it was congruency. Now we're doing some shared angles, right, laying on top of each other. So you've got one angle that's the same. Now you need to have two sides that are in proportion. Now, be careful. When you go to do your proportion, you either need to do the big one divided by the small one or small one divided by the big one. But you cannot pick the two sides that are on the same triangle. So who can give me one fraction for this problem? Andrea?
25 divided by
Good. 25 divided by 15. All right, so that's the larger side, and then you've got the smaller side here. If you put that in your calculator, you get 1.6 repeating. And then what would your last fraction be? 21 divided by 12. You get 1.75. Are those the same? No, these are not exactly the same. They're close, and I could round them to be very similar, but no, they're not the same. So are these similar triangles? No, they are not similar. So if they're not similar, you do not have to write a sentence. You only write a sentence when they're similar. Okay, now, for the remainder of the period, which is about 15-ish minutes, is it? 20? Here's what you're going to do. On the back side, there are a bunch of different examples. Now, the problems on the back, I already broke them down for you, right? I put them by section. So for numbers 1 through 6, you're going to determine if the triangles are similar or not similar using the theorem angle. So you have to use the theorem angle here. If they match, you're going to write a sentence. If they're not similar, you're just going to write not similar. So really, it should be pretty quick because you're either really just writing yes or no. Not that hard, right? Okay, and so the first section's angle, second section is side, so you got to do some fractions, and then the third one is side, angle, side. So it should match with the front. So you've got about 15 minutes. You're going to work with the people at your table. You're going to answer those questions yes or no. If it's yes, you'll write down the sentence, and then we will check those tomorrow. So if you do not finish in the next 15, you've got some homework tonight. Okay? So take some time, work on the back. You can work together, which means you can speak to one another. Okay? And I'll give you some time, so go ahead and get yourselves started. I'll leave my notes up on the board for you too.